Yeah, hi again folks. Well, here we are again. It's another day in the shed. It's wet outside today, so I thought I might as well come in here and see what I can do. Obviously I'm on the floor, and that means that I am going to start work on the exhaust system. So you can see I've got a combo bend there. I've got a couple of these that I had ordered in. They are 2.5 inch combo bends, mild steel, and these are going to be the basis for forming my my system. And I've also got a couple meters of straight pipe here. So today what I'm going to do is just start at the front here. You can see my headers are coming down here, and that's half a V-band welded on the bottom there. So basically my direction here is going to be coming off on a nice easy bend off the bottom here, trying to keep it as high as possible, but a nice smooth bend, and it's going to come back here towards this high section of the gearbox crossmember, just try and keep it up as high as possible, and then it'll angle back, probably using the 45 section of that combo. It'll angle back and go diagonally across the car under the drive shaft to meet that muffler you can see sitting there approximately. So that's going to be the location for the muffler. It probably needs to go outboard and up a little bit just to get it tucked up in there a bit better. But that's where I'm aiming for. So I'll be cutting this combo up to suit. And then at the back of the muffler, I think I'm going to add another V-band. I haven't bought one in yet. I'm just trying to work out, which one to use really. Whether I go with a V-band or just a standard sort of a flange. But anyway, either way, there'll be a connection on the back side of the muffler. So where I hook on to the loop that goes over the diff, that'll be a separate bolt-on section. Which will just make it a little easier for me to sort of install and taking it out as I need to. If you have this as one big system, or even if it's in two halves, it's pretty hard to take out from underneath the car, especially if you're only taking the car up off the floor as much as I am. If you've got the car on a hoist, then obviously you can get a lot more angle on the exhaust system and twist and turn it and pull it out from the space. But because I'll probably always be working with the car off the floor this much or thereabouts, then I'm going to make it easy as possible to pull out and modify in the future if I want to, or change out a muffler. Then it's easy to unbolt and take out and modify and then slap it back in again. So now you can see that's the muffler that I had out, so it's round backwards. Obviously that's the chrome tailpipe you can see poking forward there. So I've got it that way just because on the back end of it the pipe is offset the right way. So I'm probably going to run the muffler this way and just cut that tip off and reuse it perhaps at the back. So anyway, that's what I'm working on today. I just need to, work things out carefully. My biggest challenge, as I see it, is probably just keeping it all nice and horizontal to the body, I suppose. I'll show you the steps as I go through, and I'll be using the most basic of tools as standard here. I've got a cut-off discs for the grinder, and I'll be making cuts in these bends and tacking them up, and when it's all tacked up I'll take it away and have it fully welded. Alright, so that's where I'm at. I'll come back shortly with some action shots. Alright, so here we are. Sorry about the rain on the roof, it's a little bit noisy, but here I am with my bin. I'm about to make my first cut. You can see I've marked a few lines on here. This being right through at 90 degrees. Around about here is 45 degrees, which I think is going to be approximately my eventual point I'm going to end up at, but To be safe, I'm going to cut it through here, and this is the portion that's going to connect to the end of the headers. So as you can see, it'll give me a nice little curve around to the flat section. So this will be my first cut point, and I'm going to give it a try, and then if need be I can always cut it back further to suit where it needs to be. Alright, so let's get that cut done. Alright, so there we have it, and generally what I do is just take off the sharp edge at this point, and I'll try and fit it, and then before I worry about getting it too tighty, mainly so I don't cut my fingers up too badly while I'm handling it. An old half round file. Nice job. Righto, let's see how that fits. Okay, so I'm just trying to show you what I'm doing here. I was hoping to have this camera set up on a tripod, but just because I'm so low to the ground, it's a little bit too high to set it up, so I'm just going to hold the camera in one hand and tube with the other. So here's my bit of tube. And as you can see, that's going to just go up underneath here, and I'm aiming for that point there. So this actually, for the first cut, actually it's not too bad actually. It's going to come down a little bit with the flange, just as well as onto the flange, so it's actually not a bad start. I might have got a little bit lucky here. I'm sort of glad I left that much more on, because my first mark where I thought I was going to end up is actually no good. So it's close. So anyway, that's where I'm heading. I'll play around with this a little bit more and see how we look. So here I've just taped on the V-band flange. So it's sitting there. The exhaust pipe passes through it, and it's just sitting back just from the inside edge there a little bit. So now I can hold this up to here, and that can rotate round on that position too, so I can get it where I need it. So I'll go ahead now, just put the V-band clamp on just loosely, just to show you how that looks. Alright, so there it is, just loosely clamped in place, and as I said, I can now rotate that assembly until I get it in the right direction, or the right point over here where I'm aiming in the right direction, and it also adjusts the height a little bit, of course, as it rotates around on that radius. So basically what I'm doing is, if you can eye up that body line on the other side there, I'm just trying to eye it up with that at the moment, and you can see it's fairly parallel there if I do that. And then I'm aiming quite nicely for that that rise in the cross member there. So right about there somewhere is probably not a bad little spot. So I can let that go. No, I'll just clamp that up in a minute, and in that location, and that's going to be pretty close to where it's going to end up. Alright, we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so here's the offcut from that combi bend you saw me cut. So basically, it's got that 45 bend in it. So if I hold that up there, you can probably see it's going to go on the end there, and that 45 will come through directly underneath that high point in the cross member, and it takes off at the angle down where I want to head. So not looking too bad here at the moment. I just need to get my angles right, and then I'm probably just going to cut it, you know, where that first pipe is. I'll cut it through there to match, and that'll take me around to that point over there. Alright, let's give that a crack. Alright, here goes the next cut. So I've just made a mark. After you've done this a few times, you get pretty good at cutting it through squarely. And then you've got any doubts, and you can just put your square on it and true it up. So here goes the next cut. So using the old ichrometer, it's not too bad. Probably the best and easiest thing to do is get another piece of pipe that's been cut squarely, and just see if you can use that. So I'm going to hold that on there. That's pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. Okay, so just about to do my first couple of spot welds. You can see I've got it taped on where I want it. I'm just going to put a spot weld each side there as a start point. Good. Pull those off. All right. One down. Alright, going to try and do this one-handed. So I've just tacked on my 45-degree bend here, and I can set this up just to show you. Whoa, that's a bit of a trick. Right, so you can see it sits in there nicely, comes round, aims for the hip in that cross member, and then it's ducking down towards the muffler there. So that's where I'm at. I'll just get that V-bang clamp on now, and then I'll work on this next section towards the muffler. Okay, so just a bit of a change of plan here. That 45-degree bend I had at this point just wasn't really doing what I needed to do as far as aiming towards the rear muffler. So I've taken a different tact and put a different bend in there, which let me come around more parallel to the bodywork. So this one, it goes straight back at this point, and then now crosses over here further back. So I think it just looks a little bit better, and I just didn't like the idea of such a long span of exhaust pipe crossing over the car like that. It just seemed like a tidier solution to go straight back and then cross over in a fairly short space. And it also allows me to get another hanger on here, so it worked out pretty well. So yeah, this is all just sitting loose at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and tack these joins up, and then I can connect it onto the rear muffler back there, and that's the front half pretty much done, apart from the fully welding. And then I've decided for the rear half, being that I've got about 1.5 meters of tube remaining, I might as well take that back to the exhaust shop and have them bended up for the drive shaft loop. So I'm not sure when I'll be able to get that done. It might be a week or so before I can get that done, I think. I'll have to see when they're open again after the holidays. So anyway, being the first time I've done this, it was a bit of a learn as you go, of course, but I'm happy now with the way it's run. I'm confident it's fairly parallel with the car, and should be a tidy solution. So I'll go ahead now and get it tacked up, and then I'll just get the hangers tacked on as well, and that's job done for now. All right, I'll come back soon. Alright, just a quick shot of my finished front section of my exhaust system. So you can see the front V-band there, connection, and then it runs down parallel to the body and crosses over, and on the end will be my muffler. So it's only tacked together, of course. I'm not going to show you the quality of my tacks or welds because they are pretty rubbish, but there'll be enough to get me to my welder, who will do a much better job. And from here I've got obviously got to weld the muffler on as well, and then wait to have the tail section bent to go around to form the diff loop. So anyway, I'm happy with that. It's looks nice. I'll go ahead now and put it up in place. Okay, here we are. It's near the end of the day, so just a quick visual on where I've got up to. As you can see, it's all tacked up and sitting in place, at least the front section up to the diff area. You can see I've taken it across that hip there in the gearbox cross member, and then run it back straight before 45ing over to the muffler. So from here I will pull the system out and take it away and have it fully welded. And then I will be working on the tail section from the muffler back up over the diff. I have a couple of offcuts and bends left over, so I'm making use of those just to get up over the diff, but I'm not going to have enough left to get around the fuel tank and out the back, so I'm probably going to have to, I know, as soon as the exhaust shop is open, I'll take a bit of my straight tube to them, see if they can just bend up the last section for me, I think. So hopefully they're open next week. Meantime, I'm going to order another V-band clamp like this one, again 2.5 inch, which will go on the back of the muffler, so I can join the tail section to the muffler at that point. Alright, so looking pretty good, quite a satisfying job. You know, lots of learning as you go, of course, but that's all part of it. So I say I'll get this pulled out and then put back in again tomorrow, and I'll show you how it looks then. Alright, so here's my system out of the car, ready to be taken away and fully welded. I've now got the muffler tacked on to the front half of the system, and I've just started the rear section with the loop and the tailpipe, and I'm just missing a couple of bends which I need to get to finish off that connection there, and then probably a V-band connection behind the muffler there. So that's how it's looking. It's taking shape nicely. I'll take this away and get it fully welded up, and I'll probably just install the front half of it while I'm working on the back section. Alright, so here's just a shot of the finished rear section of the exhaust system. Obviously I've gone with all mandrel bent tube now instead of having it bent up, so I think it's just a better way to go. Just allows me to do things myself how I want it. So you can see I've got a V-band clamp there just after the diff hoop, and then it's just a slip joint onto the back of the muffler. So that's all worked out pretty well. It's now away being fully welded up, and when I get it back I'll show you how it looks when it's in the car. Job done for now, looking good. Alright, here we are another day, and here is my exhaust system ready to go in the car. So I got it back late in the day yesterday, and knowing that I wanted to fit it today, I had a couple of good hours of sunlight left where I could prep the system for paint. So I gave it all a good rub down with, I think, some 280 or 400 grit sandpaper. Degreased it, all that stuff, and then I've sprayed it with some flame-proof silver paint. And now it's had time to dry. It's been out in the sun this morning as well, so I am good to go ahead and start putting this in the car. I'm looking forward to seeing how it sounds now. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get that in and see how we look. Alright, finally here we are. My finished exhaust is bolted in and ready to go. So you can see the front V-band clamp there onto my headers. And coming around, got my first hanger on the passenger side, and then coming around to my muffler, and then there's another hanger on the right hand side of the muffler you can see there. And then from the back, you can see the back of the muffler, there's a loop coming up over, around to another V-clamp, and then just a straight section back. Yeah, I've just got my tailpipe or chrome tail tip to put on, I guess. Just finish it off, and then there's another hanger up in there. So that's it. Oh, and then obviously, just mentioned there's a clamp on the back of the muffler there. So really easy to put in. I'm glad I did it in that way, that it's, you know, 3 separate pieces. Just makes it so much easier to pull in and out if I need to. Alright, we'll get that chrome tip on, and then we'll fire it up Right, and there's just my chrome tip I've just put on. Quite like how it's worked out. It's also 2.5 inch diameter, but it's got a swage at the end, so it's just a push fit into the exhaust system. I mean, it's a tight push fit. I don't think I even need to weld it or anything. I might, if I'm ready to get carried away, I might put a rivet or something in it just to make sure it can't come out, but it's a nice fit, so I'm happy with that. Nice little finishing touch. Yeah, it's always good to be able to reuse parts if you can, so that'll do. Alright, let's see if this will fire up and see if it sounds better. Alright, so here we go. Exhaust is all ready to go. Let's see how she sounds. Straight away, obviously quite a bit quieter, and hard to tell in the garage here in the shed, you know, get a bit of echo as well. Obviously, timing still needs a little bit of work. Smells like it's running a little rich, so we need to have that looked at. Come down here. Alright, so there we have it. Successfully done. Now I'll move on to the next thing. Nice.